Good morning. It is Saturday, and I am here this morning in my kitchen, mic'd myself in my kitchen, because I have a bunch of dishes to do, and I have to empty the dishwasher, and I have to put these dishes in to the dishwasher, and clean this pan and whatnot, make this kitchen look sparkly clean. So, I don't know about you, but I don't like to be doing this. Um, I know that some people have preferences, based on like what household chore, you might be okay with doing. But and some people find pleasure in it. And so that is what I am trying to find for myself is pleasure in some of the household chores that I resist. Hmm. So dishes happens to be, even though I'm fairly the one that does the dishes, although Matt sometimes does them too. Sometimes I do get really like I don't want to do it. Um, but this isn't necessarily one of the things I love to do. And in a typical sense, then I would come and do these dishes and try to just get them done as fast as possible, as though I needed to get this out of the way so that I could move on to the rest of my day and be doing more exciting things with my day. At least that's how I used to approach dishes. And now I'm trying something new. I still approach them sometimes like that, but I'm trying something new here, which is you're going to hear my cat a lot, Fiona. She she is always talking in the kitchen. You just say hello. Say hello. Mhm. She's always talking in the kitchen and talks to me all day long. Mhm. Mhm. And anyway, I'm here today because I'm trying something new, and that is relaxing with household chores. So this is relaxing with dishes today. And I'm just gonna roll with it and see what happens. I've never recorded myself doing this, so I've never been speaking out loud while I've been doing this. I've only ever just been doing it myself and experiencing it and leaving it at that, but I've never done it sort of live recorded. So let's try it. So I'm gonna turn the water on. They can see my screen here. Turn the water on, and I'm getting it letting it get warm. I'm gonna touch the water, really get a felt sense of the water. And take some breaths here. I can already feel my nervous system starting to amp up, saying in resistance of like what I have to get this done, or feeling like this rush to just start going. And I'm trying to resist that urge right now of being in a hurry. So feeling into the sense of water. And I can feel it getting warmer. So it went from kind of cool to kind of getting hot now, and might have to reduce the temperature a bit, but feels really good right now, actually, the warmth. Uh, Trying to find that kind of perfect balance of what feels pleasurable on my skin for the moment. It's always going to change I think, depending on, how hot or cold our body temperature is and weather and moment to moment. But right now, this warm water feels really good. Just trying to get a sense of relaxing in my body. Sometimes I have to move my hips a bit to really find relaxation. I feel anxiety a bit in my chest, recording myself. That's from the recording and having a sense that I might be being watched doing this. I definitely have a kind of fear of being on stage kind of thing that goes on. So working with that as well and seeing if I can just be okay with that. And now I'm going to go ahead and make my first dish. And I realize, oh, this is going to go in the dishwasher. But I have this pan that's really quite in the way. But I also realize I'm not going to have a place to dry it because I haven't emptied really my dryer rack yet. So I'm making the decision now, just going ahead and washing this for now. And then the next thing I do is maybe emptying at the dryer rack, which maybe I should have done first, really, in hindsight. So just smelling, touching sponge, just really letting myself have a sensory experience right now. And that might look differently for everyone, but just letting yourself have this sensory experience, almost taking pleasure in the sense in your senses. I smell the soap. I'm realizing I have a little bit of a phobia of sponges. I don't know why, but they make me they feel gross to me sometimes, of just them getting used over and over again to clean. Maybe a little germaphobe side of me to note. Noticing that the basin is getting full, and I'm just gonna on the garbage disposal. Some of you may not have garbage disposals, but I do. This apartment does. I still feel a sense of like hurriedness going on in my body of like, okay, like done with this dish, come on. And I think it's more like, you could really get into dish practice. I think you could really slow down. Like every time you think you're going too fast, you could just slow down even further and try that out. But also being realistic of when you're doing this, of like how much time you've really allotted yourself, and that you have, other things that to do in your day. So there's that. There's like, how long do I want this this to go on, kind of a thing. And it's this like steady rhythm of just doing, perhaps, but at the same time you're sort of doing and reminding yourself to relax while you're doing it. So it doesn't have to be slow necessarily. I think a lot of times we think of slow and relaxed in the same breath because we really are trying to slow down. But and we are going to take kind of a step in the slow direction when we're doing this kind of practice. So you're doing the dish, but you're just with the dish, feeling the dish, getting a sensation, getting the sense of the dish, And then really feeling yourself too, of like, oh, I'm starting to amp up, or I'm starting to really, oh, I see myself calming down. Okay. So just kind of a combination of those two things. There's the practical of cleaning the dish, but then there's also the kind of more uh, in-depth view of it, which is really like feeling your own body as you're cleaning the dish and finding like what things you're averse to. Like I felt a sense of, oh, the sponges, and the sponge is not really gross. It's just when it gets worn out, I start to like get a little cringy about it and have a little bit of a germophobia there. So it's just something to uncover and then maybe look at later and say, is it really true that that's what's actually happening with this germophobia now? Is that something for me to look into? So it's just revealing in that way. And then the other thing to kind of note is it's not like I'm going to overanalyze my germophobia now. I'm not going to spend the entire time now. I'm going to finish these dishes. I'm going to put, these things now away. But I'm just going to do that in a really slow, steady way. I'm not going to fixate per se on I'm not going to fixate on what I kind of uncovered there earlier when I was washing this dish, but I'm just going to move on from that, and I'm just going to see if I can focus on these next things that I need to do here. So there's definitely a practical component going on in my mind, just getting this done too. This is my mother's lid, another dish. Set that aside. This is a candle making tool. I was making some candles the other day. And then every once in a while, as I'm kind of working, I just take a moment and notice, okay, what's happening here? Am I starting to rush? Am I starting to get amped up? And so you see there's like you can move fairly fast without getting amped up, without getting cranked up, without just starting to get frantic about it of like, I've got to get this done. I've got to do this. I've got but it's more like just doing. It's just doing. It's no big deal. And there's not any resistance. I think that's the thing to work with is we're trying to come up with a way of doing this where there's no real resistance to it. And then when we come upon resistance, like, we have a really dirty dish or something like that, and it's really grossing us out, or or something we just are averse to. We don't even know why, but we don't want to do it. So you kind of run up against those kinds of blocks, which don't allow you to relax into the activity that you're doing anymore. So now it's just coming back. It's coming back to, all right, I'm amped up. Yep, I've cranked up. All right, let me take a moment. Let me slow down. So now you might want to slow down the pace deliberately for a few moments to notice again what's going on. Of like, now can I calm this system down so that I can continue? So we don't want to continue until we've kind of calmed the system down, and then we can continue inside of more of a sense of relaxed effort again. And that's going to keep happening. It's going to keep on going like that at the beginning, right? Because we're kind of doing something new. It could get a little frustrating if you're not used to it. So I would say if you're kind of doing this for the first time, maybe a lot more time. Don't do it on a day where you have a lot of stuff going on and you're trying to, let me get this practice in. But for the first time, which that's what you're going to build up to, but at the beginning, at least when you're sort of learning this practice, just give yourself plenty of time, knowing that you're going to need to stop a bunch of times and regulate yourself. Really, when I say regulate, I mean slow down and check in, slow down and check in. Now, over time, what starts to happen with this kind of practice is that you just automatically remember to relax. You get amped up and it just kind of happens very quickly. You're like, oh yeah, I'm relaxing. And you just kind of do it. It just kind of happens. So then even on a faster paced day where you are in a hurry, over time, this can become a little bit, this can almost it can overtake as the relaxing activity instead of it being whatever it is that you think it is now. And for some folks, this is already a relaxing activity. They've already, this isn't like revolutionary, what I'm saying here. It's just that there are always things we resist. There are always things that we feel chores that we feel resistance towards. So you can really use this, with anything. It doesn't have to be dishes. It could really be laundry. It could be, vacuuming. It could be sweeping the floors, whatever your kind of chore that you just don't really like. You can really do it with that. Try to find relaxation in it, inside of it. And then I also feel like some of the big ones, like phobias, for instance. So let's say the sponge, really grosses me out, and I notice that every time I pick up the sponge, I feel really triggered by that, and so that throws my whole system off. Then I have to kind of see, then it allows me to kind of take notes and go, okay, like, how can I work with that? What is actually going on there underneath the hood of the car there when the sponge comes up? And I can go off when I'm not doing dishes and really begin to ponder that and contemplate that and go into it more. Like, what is that about? And is that something I want to work with? Does it extend to other aspects of my life? Do I also think other aspects of my life are cringy like that? Is it something kind of meta the sponge represents that makes me cringe? Or is it just that it's gross and needs to be thrown out and replaced, and maybe we just need another one because it's not good anymore? So you also get to discover things about yourself through this kind of practice. So yeah, use it as you wish. Again, it doesn't have to be dishes. What I do find helpful, though, to say is, in the dish practice, it has a natural water component, and which you saw at the beginning. I really started with really then feeling into the water, and you can always come back to that sensation. So let's say the sponge began to really trigger me and I knew I was triggered. I could set it down and begin to feel the water again, come back to that source. And all the elements are really, really good places to come back to. So each chore that you do, like you could be cooking, for example, and you could be really with the stove's fire, and really get a sense of that and greet the fire aspect of the stove. And really, you could really think of your household appliances that way even. And then you can extend that outward too. So you could also develop a whole new relationship with it and say, well, I'm cleaning the dishes right now for not just me, but I'm also cleaning them for my family and for others here. Could be for you, it could be for others. But just a sense of holding that kind of view of like, I'm doing this so that everybody can, people can have clean dishes and be in harmony, right? So you're taking the workload on for your family, which can be a real sense of appreciation that we could also hold along with the other elements that we talked about. Okay, well, I'm going to continue with my dishes now, and my dish practice. I do not think we have to watch me the entire time of me finishing up my dishes. I think you get the general idea and the purpose behind this. So, yeah, happy cleaning, happy working. Um, Let me know how you're finding this and how you're taking the practice into your own lives at home. Thanks. Bye.